The time of judgment is here. Harvest, purification, and the love of God. Revelations of Jesus Christ from 1884 to 1950. The gathering of the harvest sown by man. Thus saith the Lord. O my beloved disciples, these are times of justice for mankind. The time for you to begin settling your accounts is up. Now you are reaping the harvest of previous sowings, the result or consequence of your deeds. There is a time for man to do his job and another to answer for what he has done. The time in which you now live is the latter. That is why all of you suffer and weep. Just as you have a time to sow and another to reap, so too does God have a time in which He allowed you to comply with His law, and another where He will manifest His justice. You are living in the time of divine justice. Pain makes you weep. Humanity purifies itself in its own tears, because no one is exempt from restitution. These are times of judgment in which you must contemplate your fate, so that through meditation and spiritualization, you will listen to the voice of the conscience, which neither misleads nor deceives, but guides you along the path of peace. This is the time of judgment for humanity. My divinity judges men, peoples, and nations one by one. And nonetheless, humanity has not become aware of that, nor does it know the time in which it lives. That is why I have come in spirit, manifesting myself through human spokesmen. Through their mediation, I have revealed to you who it is that speaks, the time in which you live, and what your mission is. Truly, I say to you, you are living in the day of the Lord. You are already subjected to His judgment. The living and the dead are now being judged. Past and present deeds are being weighed on this scale. Open your eyes, so you may be witnesses to the divine justice being felt everywhere. Since antiquity I have spoken to you about a judgment, and this is the time that was announced, which the prophets represented as if it would indeed come to pass one day. The word of your God is that of a king, and it stands firm. What does it matter that thousands of years have passed since then? The will of the Father is unchangeable and must be fulfilled. If men, besides believing in my word, also knew how to watch and pray, then they would never be caught off guard. However, they are unfaithful, forgetful, unbelieving, and when a trial takes place, they attribute it to the punishment, vengeance, or the ire of God. To which I say to you that every trial is announced in advance, so that you may be prepared. That is why you must always be vigilant. The flood, the destruction of the cities by fire, invasions, plagues, scarcity, and many other ordeals were foretold to all the peoples of the earth, so that you would prepare yourselves and not be surprised. In the same way today, the love of God has always sent a message of alertness, of preparation, so that men would awaken, prepare themselves, and be strengthened. I tell you, although it is certain that monumental trials await this world, the days of pain shall be shortened, for the bitterness of men will be so great that it will cause them to awaken, to elevate their eyes to me, and to listen to the voice of the conscience that urges them to comply with my law. My justice will eradicate all evil that exists in this world. Before that, however, I will investigate everything: religious communities, sciences, social institutions. The sickle of divine justice shall sweep through, separating the wheat from the chaff. Every good seed that I find in the hearts of men, I will preserve, so that it may continue to germinate in their spirits. The purification of humanity through the judgment. How much longer will it take for humanity to develop to where it will understand my love and feel my presence through the conscience? When humanity obeys my law and hears my voice advising it, that will be an indication that humanity has left behind the times of materialism. For the time being, men must continue to be afflicted by the forces of nature in different ways, until they are convinced that superior forces exist, in comparison to which humanity's materialism is minuscule. The earth will tremble, the water will cleanse humanity, and the fire will purify it. All the elements and forces of nature will make themselves felt throughout the world, wherever human beings have not known how to live in harmony with the life that surrounds them. However, nature does not seek the destruction of those who defile it. It only seeks harmony between man and all creatures. If nature is manifesting its justice in an ever harsher manner, it is because the faults and transgressions of men, as well as their lack of compliance with nature's laws, are also ever growing. The hand of man has unleashed justice upon itself. Within his brain, a storm rages. Within his heart, a tempest. And all of this is manifested in nature as well. Its elements are unleashed, its seasons become inclement, plagues appear and multiply, because your sins grow, producing illnesses, and science, reckless and senseless, does not recognize the order established by the Creator. If I would merely tell you this, you would not believe it. It is necessary that you feel the results of your actions for you to be disappointed with them. Just now you have reached that moment of your life in which you will experience the results of all that you have sown. Man's life on earth has always been accompanied by trial and atonement, but never had this path of development been so full of pain as it is now. And never was the cup so full of bitterness. In these times, men do not wait until adulthood to face the struggle of life. How many people have known disappointments, the yoke, blows, obstacles, and failures since childhood? I can tell you even more. In these times, man's pain begins before he is even born, that is, while still inside the mother's womb. Great is the atonement of those beings who come to the earth during these times. But you must remember that all the pain that exists in the world is the work of men. What greater perfection could my justice have than to permit those who sowed thorns on the road of life to now harvest them? You cannot comprehend my plan of universal redemption, but I let you know part of it, so that you may participate in my work. Only I know the importance of the moment the world is currently living in. No human being is able to understand the reality of this hour. Humanity, since its beginnings, has accumulated stain upon stain until it has clouded its feelings and spirit, creating a life of sickness, sadness, and turbulence for itself. But the hour of purification has commenced. The time of the harvest has come for all spirits, and that is why you see confusion among men. Yet truly I say to you, that amidst this chaos, everyone shall reap what they have sown. But what shall become of those children of mine who have always violated my law? Truly, to all those who slumber without wishing to analyze and study my teachings, the trial shall come like a whirlwind, causing your downfall. While to those who have obeyed my guidance, it shall come as an encouragement for their performance, like a beautiful prize awarded by God. In this time, those who are not prepared to renew themselves will know the greatest bitterness, and they shall be taken away from the earth, thereby losing the precious opportunity to atone for their faults and reconcile with life. In contrast, those who pass from this material life onto the spiritual valley, with the peace of mind and satisfaction given by a duty fulfilled, feel illuminated by my light. And if they are among those who must reincarnate again, I will prepare them for their return to human life, with greater purity, spirituality, and wisdom. The love of God in the judgment. Pain has spilled itself entirely over the world, making itself felt in thousands of ways. With what terrible agitation do you live, humanity? How laboriously you amass your daily bread. That is why men are consumed prematurely. Women age before their time. Girls wilt while in full bloom, and the boys become hard-hearted at a tender age. It is a time of pain, bitterness, and trials that you live in. But I wish for you to find peace, achieve harmony, and reject pain. That is why I appear in spirit and send you my word, which is the gentle dew of consolation, healing, and peace for your spirit. Hear my word, which is the resurrection and the life. In it you will recover faith, health, and the joy in struggling and living. Today is a time of great restitution for the spirit. My judgment has begun, and the works of each and every one have been placed on the scales. Even if this judgment is difficult or painful for the spirits, the Father is nevertheless close to them, for He is more a loving Father than a judge. They are also enveloped by the love of Mary, their intercessor. My justice has arrived, humanity. It will humble man's arrogance and make him realize how small he truly is in his wickedness and materialism. Yes, people, I will cast man down in his false greatness, for I want him to see my light and rise up, so he may become great in truth. I wish for you to be full of light, generosity, goodness, strength, and wisdom. Humanity misjudges me and denies my presence in this time, but I shall make men recognize that my justice manifests itself in love and mercy, and that I do not come with the whip to cause them pain, but to raise them up to a life of grace, purifying them with the crystalline water that is my word, my truth. The world has not understood my teaching, and it has sustained its idolatry and fanaticism. That is why men endure the great crucible today, partaking of the cup of bitterness, because their materialism has distanced them from me. Now, humanity, divided into peoples, races, languages, and skin colors, receives from my divine spirit its respective share of judgment. The trials that are due to all, the struggle, the crucible, and the atonement that I have designated for each man and each race. However, you know that my justice has love as its foundation, that the trials the Father sends to men are proof of love, that all leads to salvation, to good, even when misfortune, misery, or doom seem to be contained in those trials. Behind all of this is life, the preservation and redemption of the Spirit. The Father is always waiting for the prodigal son to embrace him with the greatest love.